Hi everybody. I thought I would take a few minutes to explain to you what I've been doing with my bullet journal. I never knew about these bullet journal things until I read about it somewhere, and I thought, wow, I didn't know that they even sold paper that looked like this. This is so great. And for perspective, here's a pencil so you can see how nice it is to be able to write on something that isn't lined. Those thick, really dark lines just drive me crazy, and so I am so happy to have discovered that these actually exist. Now let me tell you about what I've learned in the past week about bullet journaling, and it's all from my own perspective, and the bottom line for me is, wow, this is fantastic. This is a fantastic tool. I can use this. I can't use lined paper, but I can use this. And it can combine my love of being artistic. I am not an artist. I'm pretty lousy at it, but I love to doodle and create things, and I love color, and so to me this is absolutely wonderful. How did I start out? I started out buying a bullet journal on Amazon. Actually, it was a set of 3, and it was really pretty cheap. It was only like maybe $13 for 3 notebooks that are each about, how many pages? 80 times 2, maybe, in this one journal. It's nice and heavy. I was very pleased with the weight of the paper. It's one of their most popular bullet journal things, but I got the set of 3, which I think was a little bit cheaper than the set of 2, and I wish I could remember the brand name. And so I started out thinking, gee, since this has a transparent cover, I need something to motivate me and to make me happy to be going to this bullet journal. And I could have put some really fancy saying or quote or something on this front cover, but I thought, I don't even have the time to come up with something, so I will just put whatever I want on this, and I decided to call it a bujo. Real original, right? Okay, and then I made the pictures using some stencils that I bought as well on Amazon, and here's just an example of the stencils. There's a pack of 20 of these, and they have all different kinds of shapes and stuff, which is really overwhelming. I mean, 20 of these, and they're all different. Here's another one. I like this one a lot because it's got all kinds of curly cues and filigree, but there's one with letters, and, they're fun, but I could see that there are going to be an amazing time sink, and so I'm going to avoid them unless I really feel like I need the inspiration on a given page. Oh, I apologize for being so wacky with my camera here. Okay, so it was just my bullet journal, and then I started out with an index. I had read that indexes are useful, and even after the first week, I'm running out of room, and I'm finding that my index is very useful. So the other thing I should mention is I'm starting in mid-October with this bullet journal, and I want it to last for a quarter until the end of the year, in other words. And what I found was that I'm not like a person who plans weddings or plays in weddings or something like that, where you have to plan out a year in advance. I mean, to me, my life is really simple, and 2 months or 3 months is plenty for me to explore. But I do like to keep the whole year in mind, and so here I have month at a glance, and I just kind of explore the first 3 months of my bujo right here, about kinds of things that I might be doing, and then the following year, a few things that have cropped up that I will probably be doing. But I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to this page at this point, but it just kind of made me feel like I have things in control, because I've got it down. I've got it down for the next 10 months or so. And then also, important, my husband is retiring. So this is giving me a place to think, I've got to start planning for that and what we want to do, and you'll see more about my plans later. Okay, then I started with, and you can see here how sloppy this is. I used the outline of the stencil and I just stuck this in. I thought I need an overview of the month of October. What is it that I want to do? What do I want to concentrate on? What do I absolutely need to accomplish, or what would I really like to accomplish? And so a lot of it had to do with habits, like I don't want to drink more than 2 cups of coffee. I don't want to be drinking sodas more than 1 per day. And I want to go on an intense decluttering rampage because I'm just so tired of tripping over junk in my house. And I want to paint my bathroom, and I want to make curtains for the bathroom. And stop eating muffins and bagels, drink more water, finish a sweater I'm knitting, come up with some gifts. Oh, and by the way, don't eat so fast. And save paper. A reminder not to print things. And remember shopping bags when I go to the, this is kind of just a brain dump, basically. But the outcome of that brain dump was that I came up with, what's my monthly challenge? My monthly challenge this month is declutter. And I made that decision after doing the brain dump. And you'll see where that comes in handy later. Okay, so here's October, and here's the first month I'm doing my Bujo. And you can see how absolutely crude it is. I did use the template, the stencil outlines, but the boxes never seem to be the right size for me. For example, on Mondays, I can't accomplish much. I have work, and then I have 3 hours of orchestra. There's really not much I can accomplish, so I'd like that to be a really small square. Saturdays and Sundays, I would really like more room, but this is what I decided on. I'm just going to do 1 page per week, and afterwards I kind of go in there and talk about what the weather was, just for reference, because in my tracker, if I'm having a bad day or something, maybe that can explain something. So anyway, and then questions like, when's somebody's birthday? I need to remind myself about when somebody's birthday is. At this point, I should mention, I don't use all of those symbols and everything. I personally like the symbol of the check mark in a box. I don't like to see the X in a box. To me, an X is like so negative. A check mark is so positive. But I did find that I was using this migration thing, because I had said use up potato for dinner on Thursday, and when I got home I had something else, and so I wanted to use up the potato, so I stuck it here with that symbol, and now I understand that symbol is very useful. And I have a lot of other junk on there, but the important thing about this is it is very fluid. For example, tonight I thought maybe there was going to be frost, which would have reminded me that I need to go out and harvest my peppers. So you can add things to this, but it's nice to have something where you can start out with a structure. So then I made one for the following week, another 7 days here, and another 7 days here, 5 and 2 for the weekends. And I haven't really explored these much, but I just laid them out for now. Now, the habit tracker, to me, is one of the most powerful things you can put in a bullet journal, judging from my 1 week of experience. And there's my week, and you can see it. And what I'm doing is just numbering down the column what the days of the month are. And I'm extending it to include early November, just because that makes a full week. And what I'm doing here is I'm also differentiating the weekends with the lines, because weekends are very different for me than weekdays. And I'm putting in the first column, I'm putting in when I'm actually going to bed. Not when I intend to go to bed, but when I actually go to bed. And the next column is a little statement of the quality of the sleep I had. And the next column I might dispense with, and that's when I get up in the morning. But I get up at the same time every morning, so to me that's kind of a useless column. Coffee. How many cups of 8-ounce coffee am I drinking? I'm really trying to keep this number below 2. And sometimes that means dumping coffee out, but that's okay because I realize more and more that the more coffee, if I try to drink the bottom of the cup of coffee, it really gives me no pleasure, so I'm better off throwing it out. And this next column is percents, and that is when I take a lunchtime walk. And I'm really fortunate. I have a wonderful company I work for, and I have a 45-minute lunch. I'm able to go out and enjoy a beautiful country road at lunchtime. And so I have a little key on here. If I go to the pretty house, that's 60%. If I go to the, I can't read my own writing. Oh, if I go to the lavender fields, that's 70%. If I go to the cornfield, it's 90%. And if I go all the way up to the cute mailbox, it's 100%. So I know those landmarks, so I know what to put in here. And my goal is 80%. Because if I tried 100%, it would be 35 minutes. That's just too much. So I'm just looking for getting a passing grade. And then I have a column to the right of that which is just my moods, just how I feel during the day. And I felt like it was important to put a few notes down to explain something rather than just a emoji or something like that. So this left side is only the AM picture. The PM picture's on the right side. And so the PM is really basically what I'm doing after work. This has no work in it, really. And one thing you can notice at the top of this thing is this thing in yellow, and that is my monthly challenge. My monthly challenge is to really do some decluttering. And so I'm putting yeses for every day that I'm devoting some time to decluttering, because to me that's a lot better than I usually do, which is maybe address it once a month. And the column before that is about the gym. So like on Monday the 14th, I said yes, and I was on the inclining walking machine for 30 minutes, etc. And I'm trying to go to the gym 4 times a week. So this allows me to easily see whether I've accomplished that goal. The next part is about foods that I really should be cutting down on. And the first column, I'll be very honest, is wine. I love wine. And I really want to try to keep it to 1 glass or below. So I'm just kind of giving myself red marks if I'm going a little bit over that. Because I'm trying to lose weight too. So I'm really trying not to indulge in wine, which is one of my favorite things. And then these next columns are like flour, sugar, and chocolate, and candy. And I put little marks here about what I ate that violated my principles, and a big red mark for that one, which I had a whole muffin, and it really did make me sick, because I think I'm a bit gluten intolerant. And then again, I'm repeating when I went to bed and dragging it over to the following line the next day. So I have a picture of morning through evening of what I'm doing. Okay, now let's just move on. A lot of blank pages here because I haven't done anything besides October at this point. So now what I really need to do is I need to go back to my index. And as you know, because what I mentioned before was my index is pretty lousy because I put a lot of inspirational things later in the month. And I got finances. So let's go to page 15, which is finances. Oh, I'm sorry. Page 15 is health. There it is. And I'm worried about my weight. I put some biometric results from some biometric screenings I had at work. And I've got a few notes here about my general health. And so this is giving me inspiration to try to do something to improve my weight and my health situation. This was a brain dump, but it can turn into something else later. I just felt really great that I put it down. Okay, next page. My bird. Now, I don't have a big full spread of my husband, who's the most valuable person to me. But my bird